Hi, my name is Valentina, and today I'm going to talk about the misappropriation of Native American culture. So, first of all, we need to talk about how American culture has culturally misappropriated Native American culture. First of all, it is important to define what cultural misappropriation means. It is defined as the unauthorized use of elements from another culture. These elements can be either intangible or tangible. Americans have stolen Native Americans' identity and culture to create racial stereotypes and entertain the audience with makeup characters. For example, we see that the personification of a native character by a non-native person in Western movies. So we see that there is racial stereotypes and in media. Another example is mascot of the Cleveland Indians baseball team, which is known as Chief Wahoo. Another important element or example of the cultural misappropriation is the role-playing game named Cowboys and Indians. Playing Indian tradition. What is Playing Indian? Playing Indian is a popular game that has become an important part of the American culture. This game involves the cultural personification of another race, in this case Native American, and reinforces the everlasting tradition of becoming an Indian. For example, we see that children have been taught to play cowboys and Indians since they are at babies or at very early ages. There is also propaganda in television. For example, Mickey Mouse, one of the Mickey Mouse episode was about cowboys and Indians, and he was actually playing cowboys and Indians game with Donald. So, cultural misappropriation has led to racial antipathy, confusion, and expropriation of Indian and indigenous intellectual property. What is racial antipathy? Racial antipathy is a form of inferiorizing racism that has led to negative stereotype about Native American people and other communities like Latino communities, Black African American communities, etc. Cultural confusion is the result of a lack of awareness and also the misleading racial stereotypes. For example, in the Victoria's Secret show, they were using the headdresses, which are a symbol of the Native American culture, and it was a big issue because it raised the awareness of how they were being racist and they were creating racial stereotypes and were kind of mocking the Native American culture by using one of their important elements. So, is idealized sympathy a new way to make up for the cultural damage inflicted to Native American people? The answer is no. First of all, let's define what idealized sympathy means. It is the sympathetic feeling for another culture's issues. It is intended to enforce race relations and allow outsiders to understand and share the feelings of the other cultures and struggles. But do outsiders actually share the struggles? The fact is that Americans do not share their real social, political, economic, and another type of issues. The majority only feel pity for those people, for Native American people, because of the atrocities that were committed. Now let's talk about singing red face. Is it a new version of blackface minstrelsy for Native American people? Well, first of all, let's define blackface minstrelsy. It is a form of American entertainment that was developed as a comic artistic form used to mock African American people. It is the act of becoming or being black. It was an influential force in the development of racial stereotypes against African American people. It used cultural traditions of the slave and they were mocked. For example, we see in the pictures that white people were wearing they tried to make their physical appearance look like African American people. Singing red face. Singing red face is the act of becoming native. It involves the personification of Native American people by a non-native American person through artistic representations like singing. It involves the appropriation of cultural expressions, imagery, costumes, sounds into singing performances. Singing red face and the cultural misappropriation in music. So, singing red face is the most immediate trigger for the creation and promotion of musical stereotypes about Native American people. American popular music, especially country music, is known for stereotyping Native American people. For example, the song Cow Liga is a humorous Indian love song by Hank Williams. Even though this song was intended to be humorous and comic, the inclusion of racial stereotypes made it to be categorized as cultural misappropriation. Used in music to mock Native Americans and keep spreading racial archetypes, like portrayal of Native American people as savages, untamed, uncivilized, etc. Now, there is a good example about singing red face, and it is called the Indian Reservation song. It was first known as the Pale Face Indian, and then it transitioned from an empathetic singing red face style made by a Native American person to a heavily racist caricature singing red face version. Later on, it was modified to be a more sympathetic style and version about this song. The Pale Face Indian by Marvin Rainwater was an example of singing red face by a Native American person. Even though he talked about the effects of assimilation and the loss of identity of Native American people, he included racial stereotypes created by white people. It was intended in this way in order to appeal to the American audiences. Indian Reservation by Don Farden is an example of singing red face by a non-native person. This artist took the song, the lyrics created by Rainwater and modified them in such ways that it was very racist. For example, one of the most remarkable parts on there is that he made a distinction between native people and non-native people. He said, "Us white and you Indian." It also utilized the Native American cliche stereotype of them being savages and uncivilized people. So, as we can see, cultural misappropriation is a very controversial topic nowadays, especially in the music, because Native American people are losing their identities and are being damaged as a culture itself due to the unauthorized appropriation of their culture and identity and symbols.